So we started implementing this. Last year we started meeting at the beginning of the year, this team of people, 2 from the elementary, 1 from the middle school, and 2 from the high school, and then Mr. Marty is in on it too. So we just kind of started from square one and did some training and then figured out how it best fit here at Western Reserve. Should I like snap or point? So the first step in the process was to make a behavior expectation matrix. We met as a team and well, no, I'm sorry, that's not the first step. The first step was doing a survey. We did an entire staff survey. All the staff, cafeteria, I mean every single person that works here indicated where we might have some things to work on, where there are positives, negatives, what we use as incentives already. And we took that data as a team.
That was basically a year ago.
That was a year ago because we had them returned at conferences in November.
That was their meal ticket.
That was their meal ticket,
That's
yeah. They had to turn it into as positive behavior. They got food for doing the survey.
That's a good idea.
It always helps.
Yeah, works for me. So from that, we looked at the data that we got and we developed the matrix underneath this motto. We are responsible, respectful, and ready. And that just came to me in a dream. I swear to God, it came to we are.
It's awesome. I love
it just
that.
like they always do the cheer.
Right. Yeah.
So, so those are the 3 words. And go ahead, that's it for that. So we are respectful, we are responsible, we are ready, and we are reserved. So that's constantly what you see. You'll see that, you'll hear it. I mean, if your kids haven't already said it when they come home.
It's all over the school.
It's getting there. Yeah, we're slowly building it. Shirts, we've just kind of grown. We're making little stickers that go on the plates outside of the classrooms. We got lucky because they messed them up. So they made us window seals.
Yeah.
So we got all 150 of those for free, and now they're making us. So we have 150 window clings plus
the stickers.
It really worked to our
wow.
benefit.
But the stickers are messed up.
Yeah, well, the stickers are messed up. They did the wrong days.
Oh.
So they're going to now make us the correct stickers and give us all the window clings.
Nice.
So, which of course, this logo was designed last year by Mr. Gruber. So he had about 5 or 6 different samples, and we got together and picked the one that we liked the best. So that's where that came from. Okay. Here's just an example of the expectations. There's 7 or 8 locations in the school that we identified and then picked expectations in those locations. So these are just examples. So we are responsible in the elementary. What does that look like? In the classroom, it looks raising your hand and waiting, taking care of learning materials and being organized. At the middle school, it looks a little different, actively listening to others, be considerate of others' property, and cell phones, of course, for educational use only. And then at the high school, be in class before the bell, complete assignments, and participate. So you'll see that. You'll see signs outside of every bathroom, in every hallway, in every classroom that look, if you look around, you'll see them, and they have all those expectations posted. And there's just another example, and those are cafeteria expectations. And we fully expect that this year we'll kind of, tweak anything that we might need to tweak, what works, what doesn't work. So, okay, go ahead. You might have to go. Oh, there's the sign. And you can see, we just made different signs for every location. Go ahead, so let me show a sample of that. Now, this is where it gets into more of the discipline, the expectations, and what follows if those expectations aren't followed. And then at the end of this, you'll hear about incentives and rewards. So the one thing that we noticed was that the expectations are not only for the kids, but they're for the staff. So that we're using the same language, we have the same expectations across the board, which, it's not like you're creating cookie cutter classrooms. It's just you go in one room and you're allowed to do this, you go in the other room and you're not. Or you're being sent to the office for one thing in one room and not for the other. So That's this little funny thing. What were you saying here for? Tapping my pencil. No, I was spreading the teacher. So, okay. So based on that, we came up with a flow chart to decide between, we had the problem behaviors identified, and then what would be classroom managed and what would be office managed. So that you weren't being sent to the office for forgetting your pencil, you know, so it was laid out there. This is what we expect of you in the classroom, what administration expects of you. And then, you know, what they'll just go ahead, that's office, here you go. And that actually is this here, if you'd like to look at that. This is the referral form for the office. Go ahead. And it's kind of hard to see this because I just scanned it in there, but it has classroom managed. This was, Mr. Mardig made this, and we decided as a team what we felt was classroom managed and what was office managed. And within that is what's kind of cool is we have a system of collecting that data so that we can communicate with each other across the board, K through 12, so that we can see what may have, you know, so if something happens in your classroom and then they move to the next classroom and you think it's the first time, well, I'm looking at this information and saying, you know what, you did the same thing in the last class. Maybe it's time for one of these. Okay, so it's kind of catching on. It's taking a little bit of time, but.
How are the teachers seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
How are they seeing it?
It's a
Google Sheet.
Google
Yeah.
Sheet.
Shared document.
It's a shared, it's a shared document. And it's minor stuff. That we're not putting this, that might just be, you know, forgot homework, you know, and it's not only to say, oh man, 3 classes, they forgot homework. It's also to say, okay, what's happening here? You know, so it's not just me, maybe we need to investigate further and see what's going on, because maybe there's a problem we need to help with. So it's not just to slam kids. It's
good.
Yeah. So, because you know we're small, so a lot of times they're talking in the hallways anyways. But if you're not, you know, it's right there. It's updated live. So, okay. You know what? Go back to that one real quick. Down here, I just wanted to point this out. Is it doesn't just identify the behaviors; it gives you strategies and interventions of what to do. Just some, you know, I think there's like take a break, mini conference. They're pretty stuff that you do anyways, but this is kind of like, oh, you know, it kind of makes you aware of what you're doing to solve the problem before making it an office problem. And then did the behavior change? Yes, good to go. Didn't, start over again. And then if you keep having to go back to that, then you know that you're ready for the next step. Okay. I just went over this. This was the process of documenting and communicating daily classroom managed problem behavior. Yeah, that's okay. You can go on to the next one anyway. So then that moves on to the office referral form. Yeah, before that. And this really is, we're kind of attaching the PBIS motto, be respectful, or we are responsible, we are respectful, and we are ready, and attaching that to behavior. So what happened? You know, in what location, fighting, you know, was that a respectful, responsible, ready violation? Just to really get them to understand, you know, there's a purpose for this. It's not just to, you know, like you're understanding why you're getting while you're in the office and how you can work better the next time. So this is the form we're using, and it seems to be going okay. I mean, it's kind of new, so.
I think it's going fine.
Yeah, you know.
Are teachers reluctant to fill it out? Is it like time consuming for them to like figure out what's what?
No, it's,
Potential something about
I
this big one.
typically get those on the high
As you
school
said, write it
side.
all out.
It's more informational, you know, they just drop, I have a box, they drop it off in the box. I do what I do with it. I give her a sheet, I give a teacher a sheet, and then we give one to the parent. So it's really pretty streamlined, and it's quick, and it's effective.
So how does the student, like say if he's being disruptive and he needs to go see you, how does he have to fill this out as a teacher, then escort him down to the office, or what happens?
Typically, no, if it's do you mind?
Yeah, go for it.
If it's a major incident, then, you know, the teacher calls me or they come down. But if it's just something that's been kind of accumulating, one of those instances where it's, hey, you know, they say, Dallas, here, you need to talk to so-and-so, and I'll get them in the study hall, or I'll call them down so they're not missing class time if it's not a major situation. If it's kind of a proactive conversation or something,
Okay.
you know, it's like that.
Okay.
And that's been working pretty well.
Cool, okay, good.
And we're
You
also,
mentioned,
go ahead.
You mentioned copy going to parents.
Yeah.
How's that facilitated?
So the white copy I send to a parent. I either give it to them. There are a couple instances where we may have not gotten them back, so we can mail them, you know, so, and I call, you know, obviously. And then the white, yellow copy goes to Danielle or the committee to basically track it. So if you look at a location and it says, hey, 5th period in the bathrooms, we've been having some issues, so it lets us know where we need to be sometimes. And then the pink copies just goes back to the teacher to let her know what I did, just for that communication piece and follow-up.
Okay.
Right. And we have a Google Sheet for that too, that we're keeping track of all the behavior so that we can look for next year even to adjust anything we need to adjust or create some new expectations or different ones so that we're handling the situation, the problem areas, which we're very lucky we don't have a ton of problem areas.
Right.
You know, it's, so.
It depends. If I get them that period, I'll call them and let them know what's going on. You know, I think the biggest thing is for teachers, they don't want to send a student down to the classroom with an issue and then send a student back walking in, okay, nothing happened. You know, I know that's a major. So, you know, I try and minimize that. We haven't really had too many of those incidences occur, you know, so typically if it may be a tardy, I'm pulling the kid out. You know, those are the types of things that I deal with. Otherwise, a major issue, they're typically not going back to class. You know, they're either going to stay in school suspension or, you know.
But the teacher knows the repercussion before the kid comes back, what happened?
Yes, whether I call or whether it's when they come to their mailbox, you know, later on in the day. Yeah, they're aware.
This is our noise chart. It was kind of fun. It started out elementary, and then Mrs. Hughes said, the high school kids would love this. And it actually has caught on. I had 8th graders in my office today, and they were like, we're supposed to be to level 0. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I kind of laughed at it. But, you know, just to create just some common language, again, that they, you know, they learn at the elementary, and then as they get older. You know, it's kind of fun. But,
It is.
You know, it's... It'll probably catch on more as our elementary kids get into the middle and high school. So creating that uniformity again is kind of the key and consistency. Go ahead. Oh, this was for the teachers. This was our presentation on the first day. Go ahead, you can switch it. Yeah. So year 1, we wanted to just identify some very specific things to make sure we got done this year. Using the language was a big one. And I think we're really getting where that's catching on. Using the language, we have a whole sheet that we put on a Google, the shared drive about, instead of this, say this. You know, it's just putting that positive tone on it rather than, and I'm not saying we're like coddling everybody. That's not what I mean. I mean more like instead of, you know, you're just reversing the way it sounds to teach and reteach the behaviors rather than just tell them what they did wrong. Because we always, what I hear a lot is, you should know better. Well, that's not true. They're kids that are learning, and they do need to be retaught constantly. So that's kind of what we're teaching everybody, is just teach, reteach, and use the language. Go ahead. And then year 1, also the office referral and the classroom managed Google Doc that we talked about. And then this is now rewarding, well, I shouldn't say rewarding expected behaviors, because we have expected behaviors that just should happen. You know, we're not just handing out these cards to every kid for walking on the right side of the hallway. But we are recognizing that to kind of teach the kids who maybe aren't knowing what to do. You know, because they want those cards. So we're when you see something exceptional that the teachers are giving.
We have a thing where we have at our school is that I was caught doing something right.
Yes, that's it. That's what it is. It's exactly that, but they call them "We Are" cards. And again, we had no idea how this was going to catch on, if they thought it would be dumb or, like that kind of thing. But I gave Noah Classic a card today. Then he was so thrilled. It was exciting. What they do with the cards is they keep them now. We've adjusted that already. We did collect them, and now we've decided to let them keep them. And actually, can you minimize that real quick? Just push escape, and then I want to show the other, just minimize the whole page, and then go on to my Google, yeah, right there. This is, the kids actually pick their rewards. So we sent out a Google form and picked a few that we thought we would be willing to do. And then they voted on them. So this is what they get. So they get a ticket, and then I made this based on what they voted on, and they can turn in tickets for these rewards. So if they earn 2, then if they turn in 2 tickets, they get a dress down day. And they take those to the person, whoever it is that would be paired up with that. So dress down day, first period teacher, homework passes, classroom teacher. And they can turn these in, some are worth more than others, so obviously you have to earn more. You can hold on to them and save them until the end of the year and get, whatever you want to do. So, and they picked them, and that was a lot of buy-in right here. We didn't just pick what they could, so because they got to pick them, we had 112 kids respond, then we knew that
Freebie wrong testing.
Cell phone use,
Yeah.
where do they get to use it?
in study hall or lunch. I think I have that specific. Yeah.
3 seconds for that.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's a big one.
And then, like Mr. Clark said, he would, give items for 5 or 10 tickets. He would give out free stuff. So take that off and back to the other.
And there's some lunch extras too.
Lunch extras, yeah. There's a lot
Kids
of,
were excited about that.
yeah. Jump to the front of the line at lunch.
Yeah.
Most of these are
I
free.
like
Most of these
Oh,
don't
yeah.
cost us a dime. Like getting to the front of the line at lunch. I didn't think that'd be a
That's
big
huge.
one. Apparently, it's
That's
pretty
huge,
big.
yeah.
Because
They're hungry.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
and you get the good stuff. And you get the good stuff.
Yeah.
Now that's at the high school and middle school. The elementary is a little bit different. They are doing, they draw 2 cards every month, and then I do some kind of a social with them at the end of the month. Whether it's this month, it was an ice cream social. So we just had that. So 2 kids from every class got to have an ice cream social.
Now what's Carlos?
You can go get
should have brought
Carlos.
Carlos.
You should have brought Carlos.
My bud.
Carlos. Carlos has
Carlos-
gotten us through some tough times.
He has. Carlos is a puppet, and he's a spy, and he spies on kids. He's kind of like a
Elf on the shelf.
elf on the shelf.
Elf on the shelf.
Yeah, so he
Oh,
catches
okay.
kids doing things, and he takes selfies.
He
with
looks
them.
like a Muppet.
Yeah, and then he takes selfies, and we post them.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's just
They
fun.
love that.
They love Carlos, and actually Carlos has turned out to be quite a grief counselor.
Yeah.
There's been a couple things that have happened that those kids are attached to Carlos. Like,
Wow.
it's the last couple of years, we've had a couple things, and they want Carlos. So it's kind of turned out more than I
Wow,
ever
that's
expected
great.
him to be. Jack Cababianca named him when he was in 7th grade. He came in, I was like, I don't have a name for him, and he's like, Carlos. Okay, done. And then the traveling trophy, which is yet to get here, but that's, the traveling trophy goes to the classroom. It may be rigged, I don't know. But just to recognize, recognize teachers, recognize the classroom that had the best behavior that month. Because the problem is some teachers will give out 100 cards, so I can't really go based on numbers, but we just kind of recognize what they're doing and then give them a traveling trophy. It's all just in fun. And then Celebrate 9 is something that we'll start at the semester, and what that is doing is we look at kids with no unexcused absences or less than unexcused absences. What are the other things? No office referrals, the bug award, bringing up your grades. So if you brought up a grade from one grade to the other. And then
So all those are reward incentives.
Yes, and that's Celebrate 9. So we look at the whole 9 weeks
Nice.
and get that information and then do something. They voted on that as well. And The big winner there was movie and popcorn. And then there's ice cream socials, and there's like dodgeball, like stuff like that. That's just pretty easy. At the end of the day kind of stuff. So again, free, which is nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, my fancy stuff. All right. And then decking out the school in signs and colors. We've put up little quotes and stuff on the walls.
that's
There's
nice.
more to go up.
I like it.
And then just signs, which is going to take some time because that costs, a
Right.
little bit of money. So, and then if you would like to see, I'm not going to
You have
have
to
you
see
show.
them.
Oh, and we expect full years for full implementation with training throughout.
That makes sense.
But believe it or not, we've had quite a. I mean, the teachers I think are pretty much on board. So it's been exciting.
What are we doing to see that teachers are setting an example?
They get cards too.
Yeah, they get cards. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah,
let's
they're
be
being more
honest. I mean,
They
Yeah,
get
in-
special parking spots.
Yes, we did in
Dressed
the
down
elementary school. We did the shout out board, and
Yes.
it's so funny because I said, you know what, we need to do this as adults too, just to compliment each other and make sure that we're helping each other.
Yeah,
So,
the way they interact
Right.
with each other, the way they interact with the
so we put a shout out.
the culture.
We put a shout out board in the elementary school, and it was funny because at first they started little by little, but now they check it when they come in to see if there's.
I heard somebody say, "You got on the shout out board." You're so excited.
And so we
Yeah.
did. So I put one of those, and it was kind of fun. So just like helping each other,
It's that little
talking.
stuff
It is.
Makes sense.
They get cards. So
Yeah.
if with like the first couple of days of school, if they were out in the hallway, we were given cards, like because we had talked about having teachers in the hallway and greeting the kids, and they got a card, and their incentives are, like I said,
Yeah.
parking out here, dress down day for
It's
them.
the little stuff.
It's,
that
And,
matters.
And
yeah.
part of it is like even the
Just
they want to
dress
deal.
down
as much as the kids.
Yeah.
They do.
Well,
I know.
well, sometimes a little too much.
Little
But,
too much.
a little conversation. But we sometimes, in like the BLTs that we're doing, I mean, just them having their voice and their say, and knowing that, it's a team, and this is such a good thing because that's always been, I know it's been my philosophy, but we all do different jobs, but we all are important. And so my job is not to dictate to you, but it's
Sure.
just to be a part of that team.
And everyone
or
wants to
team.
be recognized.
Sure. So that it is. I think it's a good culture that we're setting.
Well, I think so too. And then another component of that was this. We decided to do a book study because I think sometimes what happens is you kind of get caught up in the day-to-day, and you might not wonder what's going on in some kids' lives, and it's easy to let that happen because you've got standards and you've got all this stuff going on. So this book is called Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog, and it really is about the relationship between trauma and brain development, and what maybe has happened in particular 0 to 5, or in a young age, and how that impacts their brain development. And so I had 16 people sign up to do this book study, and it started yesterday. And they're reading it, and we're having discussions, and we're just talking about interacting with kids and what kind of impact you can have, not just teaching, but the whole, holistically. So it was kind of cool. I mean, I didn't expect to have that kind of turnout. And
Well, and even today we have a student that we're having some issues with, and it was funny because the teacher and I were talking, and we were talking about a piece of that book, and we were like, and we were using it, and we were using some of the strategies and things, and it was kind of
right.
neat.
You notice, there's a lot of kids, just a little brief overview, like there are a lot of kids identified ADHD, or when a lot of times that's it's misidentified. It might be more trauma in their development. So it's just another way of looking at things and how we are with kids. So I'll like I said, I won't make you sit through 15 minutes of it, but I'd like you to see the teaching video that we use at the elementary. We made it in the spring, and there's going to be more for the middle school and high school, but this one is just the elementary. Be patient through the first minute, maybe 2. It should be on the desktop.
Can we turn the lights on?
Yeah, let's do
turn
that.
them off to give them a little bit of feeling.
They use this over and over again if there's a problem. just to reteach. Again, we're just reteaching the behaviors.
I played it in middle school. We had fun.
It's fun.
That's cool. Oh, you know what?
One of my kids said, I think that it was pretend. I don't think the teachers really act like that. And I said, I hope not. So,
They didn't say that in middle school.
you'll see why I said that.
That's Carlos, by the way.
Yeah, that's Carlos.
Oh, okay. Oh my God.
T-shirts are cute.
So it goes through each location of the school. It's about 15 minutes long. And obviously the teachers are showing the poor behavior and the kids are showing the positive behavior. So if you ever want to see the whole thing, I can send it to you.
Cute.
But it's, you get the gist of it. Yeah, that's PBIS.
I like it. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that?
The website.
Yeah, yeah,
My parents could see it too.
yeah. I mean, like those teachers.
Maybe they could learn too.
No, but you're
right.
You're exactly right.
We could get tickets to the.
We could, maybe we should start doing that.
Seriously. But maybe some parents can follow it at home. you
Yeah,
know,
right.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. It would be a good conversation starter
Right.
for them.
It's been a really great team, and Mr. Gruber and Mr. Clark made all those shirts. He made the emoji shirts with the X's and the check marks. And the administration has been fully supportive, which has been really, really nice, because, you know, if we didn't have that as a team, it wouldn't work. But having them follow through on everything and enforce it has been really,
Thanks for
really
sharing
great.
with them, because we kind of like, our kids are going,
Yeah.
I miss all that, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Sure, no
I really
problem.
appreciate
And
that.
I can say it's
Can I,
excellent. I mean, Josh had to say candy for cleaning up in the, he was
Yeah.
cleaning up in the cafeteria and got
Right.
a piece of candy from
Right.
somebody. And so he's in third grade and loves it.
Good,
One
good.
of the, from my point of view, one of the best things this board has done in recent years was pushing for the position that you're serving in and hiring you. Thank you.
Oh, thank
Yes.
you. Wow. Did you get that on camera? Get that?
We also want that on the.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
allowing me the time to show this.
Thank you. Keep up the good work, because you're awesome.